If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you've probably already heard me say that I'm not a huge fan of the Goodwill, but you might be. And on this channel, I want to show you around what Minneapolis has to offer. This particular Goodwill never fails me. So I want to take you along and let's go shopping together. Today we're popping into the Goodwill in St. Louis Park, Minnesota. I think my opinion is the reason the donations, especially the hard goods, I didn't do any looking at the clothing. The reason the donations tend to be really good here is it is not that far from Lake Harriet and all the chain of lakes in Minneapolis. And if you've never driven around the chain of lakes and see the homes that are there, they're absolutely stunning. So I'm just wondering if maybe this might be a close Goodwill for people to drop off their donations. Every single time I've come in here, I've always found beautiful things. I also in my videos have talked about the fact that I'm really not picking up too much until I can start hitting the church rummage sales. So for resell, that is my very favorite way to shop. I like supporting the churches, and the items that I pick up are always on the last day fill-a-bag sales. That's where I find the best bargains for resale. If you have never been to a church rummage sale, you may want to go on the first day. Typically they're over a weekend, but I have found some really lovely things that end up on the last day fill-a-bag that I like. And I had a comment about, don't tell anyone our secrets. These are, you're giving away the information. There is so many things. There's no way that I'm giving away information to somebody. What I like, you might not like. What you like, I might not like. I believe we should just kind of share the wealth here and show each other what there is out in the world. So I'm not the least bit concerned. We should all be able to participate in shopping at Goodwills, shopping at church rummage sales, no matter the reason. We're still giving the money back to the organizations. And I don't think that it really, I shouldn't hide any of this from you. So I'm going to share this all with you. Originally, my idea behind this channel was to share with you how I resell in retirement and the different things that my husband and I do now that we're retired. We're still earning income, but we're now doing things that we absolutely love rather than things that we need to do, and we have jobs that fulfill us. So that was my initial thought about being retired and reselling. But I've since learned that you all like to come shopping, and I'm happy to bring you along shopping with me. The shopping part is the most fun. The organizing, storing, listing, shipping, photographing, customer service, that's not so much fun. But I'm very happy to bring you along with me to these stores, and my intent is to continue to do this and then also add in some church rummage sales when we start that season. I did a video a few back on Dr. Lori, and if you don't know about her, you should. This was cute. This was a little plug-in lamp. So I'm assuming that the bottle lights up. If you don't know about her, you should. If you love selling hard goods or collecting hard goods or learning about hard goods, I'll link the video that I did, which shares the videos that she did. But she was in the Plymouth Goodwill, and she also stopped by the St. Louis Park Goodwill. So you might want to peek at what she found when she was here. She's a hoot. I really like watching her. I think you'd really like watching her too. Things that don't sell at the Goodwill get sent to the Goodwill outlet. That's the last stop, my understanding, before it all ends up in the landfill. Here's where I found the piece that I was so excited about. I'm wanting to collect vintage nutcrackers. So when I saw this whole, it looked to be someone's collection, I was pretty excited about taking a peek at these for myself. I want to put this in our downstairs mantle. So I was looking and I saw them dated, and I saw that they were dated in the 2000s. So I was kind of wondering about that, and I don't know very much about vintage nutcrackers, but I saw this very large one in the back. So I was making room to pull that one out. I also did a video on how I run comps, and running a comp means that you're looking for comparables. You're looking to see how much it sold for. I did do that on eBay before I pick anything up. That one wasn't, that was World Market. So that one wasn't vintage. But this guy here in the back was what I knew right away. I had to put the camera down, but that tall guy stood out for several reasons to me. But he's the one that I'm so excited about. And here's what it sold for just recently. So maybe you're interested in learning more about the Goodwill outlet. I have done a couple of videos shopping there. It's an experience. I've talked about it. It's a little exhausting. You have to be in the mood for it. The prices are good. They're not great. They used to be great, but like everything, it's gone up in price. But it's a hunt. There's a lot of energy in the room. You can see a couple of those videos that I have already done, but it used to be one of my more favorite ways to shop for reselling. It isn't anymore. The energy and the vibe has just been a little off for me. So I'm going to continue to sell things from our home through these winter months, other than when I pick up these random things that I show you I pick up. But they're going to be very, very special things if I end up picking them up at the thrift store. I really have enough here to go through in our garage and in our home. I think we have plenty, my husband and I. So it will be a special thing that I pick up in the retail thrift stores. I'm very much looking forward to the church rummage sales that are coming up. So I'm sure you can see already that this store does have some nicer, higher quality items. If you can, if it's worth the drive for you, if it's convenient for you, you should pick the ones, I think, that are in the quote nicer neighborhoods that I'm thinking would get the nicer donations, but I'm not certain that that's the case. I don't know if one store gets so much that they load them on those big trucks and they bring them to all the different stores, but you would think that just assuming that it's people are donating at thrift stores that are closer to them. And when you find neighborhoods like Wayzata, Minnesota, and down near the chain of lakes in Minneapolis, Lake Harriet, Lake of the Isles, those are mansions. They're spectacular homes. So maybe they don't. I have another video coming up about the Assistance League that's in Richfield. That was a fantastic store. That's coming up next. Maybe they don't want to donate to these stores as well, but we don't know. And so I'm going on my best guess, and the fact that I've done this now for 7 years, that I just pick places that have nicer homes nearby. I don't know why, but I always do this. I find things that I always put things back together with their little friends. I'm not sure you'll see me do that often. These were empty perfume bottles. I have sold empty perfume bottles before. Doesn't have, of course, you have to say they're empty. Doesn't have to be full. And sometimes you got to be careful of selling cosmetics and fragrances because they go stale and they go bad. So don't always, check the marketplace or research the marketplace you're selling them on. I have sold used perfume bottles, but you'll often see me putting things back together. So I feel like if someone's looking for an item and you see the match, I'm always trying to do that for other shoppers, is put the little items back together. That Holly Hobby plate has a Holly Hobby person, and I find her and put her back. So there was vintage there. I liked that the store wasn't, sometimes the store's so packed that you can't see things. The other thing is always look on those bottom shelves, because like you see me do, oftentimes it's just eye level that I'll pick up and show you, but the good stuff lives at the bottom. It really does. So if you can get down and up, I can get down. I don't know, sometimes I'm like struggling to get back up, but always look on those bottom shelves and look back in the back side of those bottom shelves. You're going to find the good stuff, because people tend to not do that. They're looking at eye level just like I'm doing. So that's a tip. I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. If you're new to reselling, make sure you start with items that you already own. And the other thing I put that back. There she was. The other thing you can do is, and you should do, is tell people what you do. Don't be afraid to tell people what you do. If you're a reseller, people often have stopped by my home. I know it sounds weird. Stop by my home. I have things that I'm donating. Do you want any? or they'll send me an email. I've got a bag full. My mother-in-law passed away. I know these things are good. I'm just donating them anyway. And I will get free inventory at some, literally people have dropped it off at my door. It happened to me when I worked. They were, it's in my trunk. Do you want to take a peek? And then I tell them I will donate for them. Oftentimes they don't even want the receipt, but of course they can have the donation receipt, and I will do that next step for them, and they let me poke through first. So people are very willing to give you things because it does have sentimental value, and if somebody could use it in a certain way, like me, for reselling it, I've had really great luck. So never ever be afraid to tell people what you do. Get the word out. The other thing that I've asked and put the word out for is packing material and boxes. And I've lived in my neighborhood for 30 years. My husband's a youth baseball coach. We know a lot of people in the community. But if you tell people what you do, and especially with how, there I go again, putting them together. If you tell people what you do, and people shopping on Amazon, I get boxes delivered to my door. I will go to friends and pick up boxes. Going to a Super Bowl party, my friend said, I've saved boxes for you. Let me take a peek and put them in your car. With the amount of shopping people do online, there's no reason you really need to buy a lot of boxes. And on Facebook groups, you can also search for people that have moved. They will often give away their boxes and bubble wrap. Bubble wrap's probably one of the more expensive things that I buy. I buy it in bulk through American Bubble Boy. I'm not sponsored or anything, but often you don't have to pay for that. So don't spend a lot of money if you want to get into resale. I have a store subscription on eBay. That's just because I've been doing reselling for so long, but you can start out not paying for a store subscription. You can just start out with lesser items that you put up for sale. I don't remember the amount that you have for free. Always look at I talked about this in another video. Sometimes the cat and dog bowls can be worth money. So take a peek there if you're in a thrift store, and run a comp if you see an unusual one, or a porcelain, or pretty vintage one. Take a peek at those, because people like nicer dog items. It's the other thing we do. We're dog walkers on the Rover app. Lamps, another really good reseller to follow. The Crazy Lamp Lady. Oh, she's really good. She does more than lamps. She's really into vintage, and she's got a ton of great videos watching her shop. So this was interesting, an entire row of computer screens. So I don't know how I don't know what the return policy or how you know that they work, but that was interesting. I'd never seen that. You can see how clean this store is. It's a good store. The reason I say that I'm not a fan of Goodwill is just I don't really, the pricing has just been so outrageous. I've shown you how outrageous it's been, but it may not be that way for you. So I like how clean it is. I like the material, the items that get brought in. It's good, but oftentimes it's priced so high that I will end up finding it at the Goodwill outlet, or the same, that's also known as the bins. I've found artwork there. I found gorgeous Christmas artwork, and they were all like $2 a piece, an entire bin filled with artwork. So there's no reason between consignment stores and thrift stores that you really have to spend a lot of money on some pretty decent artwork. People just have had it and they don't like it anymore. It doesn't fit. They move. They don't need it. This album cover was like an old Partridge Family. I didn't know. I didn't take the time to look at it, but maybe that was collectible. I'm not sure. That was kind of cool. Somebody might have wanted that. This was a drawing of someone's home. I see that around here when you sell your home, like your family home, the realtors sometimes will have an artist sketch your home for you. So I'm wondering if that was someone's home that ended up here. There are times I feel kind of sad about the things I find. I've shown you and talked about wedding dresses and different things and photos, and I sometimes feel sad that it ends up here, but truly, what do you do? We are so fortunate that we have so much. and many of us, just what do you do with all of your stuff? So it ends up here because at least you're feeling like the money is going, you don't want it and you're giving it to a good cause. But there's a lot of good causes, and to me, those community and church-based ones, that's personally what I prefer. So we donate there. We also have textile recycling in the parking lots of different places. One is very near a Hy-Vee grocery store that live near. This was cute. This was an upholstered chair for $8.99. It had been $34.99 and had been marked down several times. That was cute. I mean, maybe you don't like that fabric. Maybe you repolster it. But this reminded me of the leather couch that we have. It's those nail head ones. We have a very similar sectional couch. That was a good price. Kids going off to college, apartments, you reupholster. So there are some deals to be had. I do like that the Goodwills around me, this was this one, this entire hutch was $4.99, the TV console hutch. We have one down in our basement, kind of similar. We paid a lot more than $4.99, but nobody has TVs like that size anymore. We don't have a TV in that cabinet anymore. The TV was so large. It took our two sons and my husband to put it on this industrial sled and get it onto the sled, slide it out of our basement, which is a sliding door, and slide it up the hill. And we ended up having to pay to recycle that TV. This was a stone top one. That was pretty. They do a nice job with their furniture, I do have to say. But those old TVs that you can't even recycle anymore, those tube ones, it took 3 adult men to lift the thing, and that's what used to live in the cabinet, and that's why nobody wants those cabinets anymore. Reminded me of the one that we still have, and so there's absolutely nothing in there anymore, but it fits the decor downstairs. Next, I turned down the wood aisle. This was handmade by somebody and signed. That was a nice piece. I find a lot of handmade items at the thrift stores. That was nice. That wooden mask that I was holding, I have sold a lot of wooden masks. So I'm just pointing out things that catch my eye that maybe you wouldn't look at. Anything ethnic, Mexican, European, handcrafted, silk, leather, like an alpaca wool. Just think high-end quality, not fast fashion. I don't like selling fashion, and truly the fashion, the things that we buy now, they fall apart so quickly. I just like and look at and I'm drawn to unique, interesting, those are beautiful, high quality home goods. This one was adorable. This was a little sheep. This piece was just adorable. It was from Pottery Barn Kids. It was a little sheep. Wouldn't that be so cute in a nursery? That's a sheep, right? Is that a sheep? Now I'm looking at it again, or is that some other? I don't know. It was very cute. I could just see it in a nursery. That was adorable. So you can see the things that catch my eye, and it's just that's the fun about going into thrift stores. You just simply never know what you're going to find. When you go into regular stores, you kind of know what you're getting. You have no idea what's going to be there. And I've always, since I've been a younger girl, I've always liked shopping. I've always liked bargain shopping. Those of you that live in Minnesota, you remember Dayton's. And I used to work downtown, and I remember going with my good friend down the Skyways. And when we worked down there, we would go to Dayton's in our lunch hour. We knew the Skyways by heart, and everything that was 97 cents. Do you remember that? That was their final markdown, and I was finding dresses for $9.97, and I was coming back. That was my first foray into shopping at a good price was when I was fresh out of college working in downtown Minneapolis, and my girlfriend and I would run through the Skyways, grab lunch, and be back at our desks in an hour, and we would go running to Dayton's in their clothing. I absolutely, positively loved Dayton's. There has never been a Minneapolis store that's like that, in my opinion. So this vintage kids lunchbox caught my eye, and I did run a comp on that, but it had a little thermos that went with it, and I did open it up, and that thermos was not in there. So here I am. This is the one thing I bought, and it's going to be listed very shortly today. Thanks for watching.